Betrayed Jana Duggar ex-husband revealed house sold for $1.6 million. Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. For Duggar family latest news update, please subscribe the channel and press the bell icon. The Duggar family had always lived under the shadow of public curiosity. For years, their large family, conservative values, and strict rules were admired by some and criticized by others. But what unfolded with Jana Duggar, the eldest daughter who had often remained in the background, shocked everyone. What seemed like a quiet, hidden love story turned into a tale of betrayal, heartbreak, and financial crisis that shook the family name again. This is the story of how Jana's ex-husband was revealed, how her dream house was sold for $1.6 million, and how Wissmann's name got entangled in the storm, a secret marriage. Jana Duggar had always been the quiet one. While her younger sisters, Jessa, Jill, Jinger, and Joanna, moved on with marriages, children, and new lives, Jana stayed home. Rumors swirled for years that she was either too picky or too bound by her father, Jim Bob Duggar, to make her own choices. But the truth was much more complicated. 2 years earlier, away from the cameras, Jana had secretly married a man the public had never met. His name was Caleb Bryant, a family friend connected through church circles. Unlike the Wissmann family, Caleb had no fame, no large family empire, and no public image to keep. Jana thought this anonymity was a blessing. For the first time in her life, she had something that belonged only to her. The marriage was quiet, almost hidden, just a few witnesses and no cameras. Even many of her siblings didn't know the full story. Jana had thought she had found her freedom, but freedom came at a cost. The hidden struggles, pay first. Married life felt like a dream. Caleb was attentive, gentle, and promised her a life beyond the Duggar compound. They bought a beautiful farmhouse on the outskirts of Springdale, Arkansas, a white 2-story house with blue shutters, sprawling gardens, and enough space to raise a family. But behind closed doors, Caleb wasn't the man he had seemed. He had debts, old ones, and he had kept them hidden. Creditors began calling, letters piled up, and Jana, who had never dealt with financial matters in her life, suddenly found herself facing foreclosure threats. Even worse, Caleb resented the Duggar name. He didn't like how Jana's life was always compared to her sister's, how Jim Bob controlled decisions, how the world expected Duggar women to live a certain way. He began pulling away, spending nights away from home, and rumors whispered through Springdale that Caleb was often seen in town with another woman. Jana prayed, cried, and tried to hold the marriage together. But by the end of the first year, she knew the truth. Caleb had betrayed her, betrayed and alone. The night everything came crashing down was etched into Jana's memory forever. She had waited at home with dinner prepared, only for Caleb to stumble in after midnight smelling of perfume and alcohol. When Jana confronted him, he didn't deny it. "You're a Duggar." He spat bitterly. "You'll never really belong to me. Your family runs your life, and you hide behind them. I want freedom, and you can't give it to me." Jana's heart shattered. For years, she had been accused of being too passive, too dependent, too hidden. Now, even her husband used her upbringing as a weapon. The betrayal wasn't just about the other woman. It was about the life she thought she had finally escaped from. Within weeks, Caleb had left. Papers were signed, and Jana Duggar, once the quiet backbone of the Duggar daughters, became something scandalous within their world, a divorced woman. The news didn't stay hidden forever. When her siblings found out, some offered comfort. Jill cried with her on the phone, Jessa promised to keep it secret, and Joanna drove over with casseroles and hugs. But Jim Bob and Michelle? They were furious. Not just at Caleb, but at Jana. "You should have told us," Jim Bob thundered. "We could have helped. Now look at this mess." But Jana didn't want help anymore. She wanted to be free of the shame. The house sold for $1.60 million. The farmhouse Jana and Caleb had bought became her last tie to the failed marriage. But with Caleb's debts still looming and Jana unable to keep up with payments alone, the house had to be sold. Real estate agents whispered about it for weeks. The Duggar daughters' hidden house, they called it. The farmhouse eventually went to a wealthy couple from out of state who paid $1.6 million in cash. Jana stood silently the day she handed over the keys. The garden she had planted, the room she had decorated, the dream she had built, all gone in an instant, but she told herself she wasn't selling her dream. She was selling her past. Enter Stephen Wissmann. While the Duggar world reeled, another name surfaced. Stephen Wissmann. Stephen had long been rumored to be Jana's suitor. For years, fans speculated about their connection, fueled by photos, church visits, and whispered family gatherings. But Stephen had never pursued Jana openly. When the news of her failed marriage and the house sale spread, Stephen quietly reached out. Unlike Caleb, Stephen was steady, grounded, and came from a family as conservative as the Duggars. But he also carried a warmth Jana hadn't known she needed. "You don't have to prove anything," Stephen told her one afternoon when they met at a small cafe outside of town. "Not to me, not to your family, not to anyone." For the first time since the betrayal, Jana felt seen. Not as a Duggar daughter, not as the quiet sister, not as a divorced woman, but simply as herself. The Duggar family fallout, the revelation of Jana's past, however, didn't stay quiet. Word leaked to tabloids. Jana Duggar's secret ex-husband revealed. Photos of Caleb surfaced along with details about the $1.6 million house sale. Fans were shocked, critics mocked, and Jim Bob, once again, was left trying to shield the family's image. "Do you realize what this does to our reputation?" he raged during a tense family meeting. "We've spent years building this testimony, and now," but Jana, for once, didn't shrink. She stood tall, her voice steady. "I'm not your reputation, Dad. I'm your daughter, and I won't be ashamed for choosing love, even if it failed." The room fell silent. For the first time, Jana's siblings saw a new side of her, a woman determined to live her own life, mistakes and all. Chapter 7. Moving forward. The months that followed weren't easy. Jana faced whispers in church, critical headlines online, and icy silences from parts of her family. But she also found strength she never knew she had. With the money from the house sale, she chose not to buy another grand home, but instead rented a modest apartment. Small, cozy, and hers alone. She planted flowers on the balcony, filled shelves with books, and began painting again, rediscovering passions she had long buried. Stephen remained by her side. Though their relationship was slow and cautious, it was steady. He respected her scars, never pushing her to heal faster than she could. Josh Duggar's request for a court-appointed lawyer has been denied. Even after a judge rejected Josh Duggar's appeal in his child pornography case in 2023, and again in 2024. The former reality star hasn't given up on trying to escape serving the rest of his sentence. But unfortunately for him, he's hit yet another dead end. His request for a court-appointed lawyer has been denied in his latest attempt to have his case reconsidered, and it certainly seems like he's running out of options at this point. The motion he filed was denied last week. As Arkansas local news affiliate KNWA reported on June 5, 2025, U.S. Magistrate Judge Christy Comstock said Josh's motion lacked sufficient detail and thus didn't justify his request. According to the news outlet, if the petition presents a non-frivolous claim and other factors, such as legal or factual complexity warrant assistance, a lawyer could have been appointed. But in this case, it seems those standards weren't met. He asked for a court-appointed lawyer in May. In the documents Josh filed, he claimed that new legal theories and strategies that have emerged in public discourse could help him fight his conviction. And because as an incarcerated person, he is unable to afford an attorney on his own, he wanted the court to appoint one to him. The defendant requests counsel for the limited purpose of reviewing the record, evaluating possible constitutional claims, and, if meritorious grounds exist, preparing and filing a motion. Read the documents he filed. He wrote a letter to Judge Timothy L. Brooks. As The Sun reported, Josh wrote a letter to the judge who presided over his case when he was convicted and sentenced, Timothy L. Brooks, as part of his request. "During my time of incarceration, I have worked diligently to focus on education, personal growth, my faith, and to maintain strong family ties," Josh wrote in the letter. "However, as I review my case, I believe there are significant issues relating to trial errors, evidentiary rulings, and other constitutional violations that merit a thorough post-conviction review." He continued, "I am unable to fully assess these matters on my own, which is why I seek the assistance of qualified counsel to help evaluate whether relief is justified. At this point, it seems likely Josh will have to serve his full sentence. Try as he might to have his conviction vacated, it appears the former 19 kids and counting star has officially run out of options. He's not due to be released from FCI Seagoville, the federal prison facility where he has been serving out his sentence, until October 2032, so he might want to get comfy if he hasn't already. It's going to be a while." Josh Duggar's wife Anna might be moving to a $1 million home purchased by Jim Bob Duggar. Anna Duggar might be moving into a new home while her husband is in prison. In 2022, Josh Duggar was sentenced to about 12 and a half years in prison for receiving child pornography. The 19 kids and counting alum is expected to be released from prison in October 2032. Meanwhile, his wife, Anna, and her 7 children have been living with Josh's parents, Jim Bob and Michelle Duggar. But that might change soon, as reports indicate that Anna might be preparing to relocate. Josh reportedly didn't want his wife to move away from his family. Anna, 36, shares daughters 15-year-old Mackenzie, 9-year-old Meredith, 5-year-old Mariella, and 3-year-old Madison, and sons 13-year-old Michael, 11-year-old Marcus, and 7-year-old Mason, and with Josh, who is 37. She and her kids have been living with Josh's parents even though she reportedly wanted to move to Texas to be closer to him, In Touch reported. According to the publication, Josh didn't want Anna to move away from his parents because he was worried that she might feel compelled to leave him. He thinks it will create too much of a disconnection for her and his kids, an insider previously told In Touch. Jim Bob recently purchased a house in Arkansas. On April 23rd, In Touch reported that Jim Bob recently bought a home for around $1 million. It's conveniently located just minutes from Jim Bob and Michelle's compound, one source claimed. Rumor has it that the house is for Anna and her kids. That way, she'd still be close to Josh's parents. The home has 6 bedrooms and multiple lavish features. The 6,318 square foot property is in Fayetteville, Arkansas. Who the house is for has not been confirmed, but with 6 bedrooms and 4.5 bathrooms, the home for Anna's family. Per In Touch, it also features walk-in closets and a whirlpool bathtub. Anna has reportedly been earning money through a controversial job. With her husband in prison, Anna has reportedly been working as a dog breeder to earn money for her family. In December 2024, the U.S. Sun reported that Anna breeds golden retrievers. The publication also reported that Anna continues to her husband in prison. Ahead of Josh's sentencing, Anna supported him. She added, "Josh has chosen how history will remember him. By staying and supporting him, you're allowing him to choose that for you, too. And I know standing up to all of this seems impossible now, but as a mama, your instinct to protect your kids always has to be stronger than your fear."